Oh.
Ta-da! Hello, everybody in YouTube and here on Zoom. Hopefully everybody's having a great beginning of the week. What are we going to talk about here tonight, guys?
Ooh. Bear market
going on.
Little ups and downs here and there.
Ups and downs. You know, there's a lot of unknown information out there that are just, you know, getting people worried, and then they panic, and, you know, then of course things up and down and move around and stuff like that. I will say, guys, and I don't care what party you vote for, that's up to you, but make sure that the candidate you vote for is crypto friendly, right? In these next elections. We actually went to a couple of political events at the last voting cycle, and I got a chance to talk to a few of the candidates. My first question was, what are your thoughts on crypto? Because we cannot have politicians getting elected that are not crypto friendly. Crypto friendly is people friendly. Anti-crypto is anti-freedom, anti-patriotism, anti-individual, you know, everything else. So we've got to make sure that the candidate, and again, it's not a political party either way, it's sit down, ask those questions at the events. What are your beliefs on crypto? And if they're bad, then you shouldn't vote for that person for any other reason, in my opinion, because it is very important for us to have a decentralized future if we want our kids and our grandkids and ourselves, right, to be able to do that. So for us in the world, yeah, it's a lot of stuff is it's just a crazy world that we live in, but it can be fixed. We have hope, you know, for the future, and and we're a part of that. So if you're right now, you have crypto, if you are sitting there and holding NFTs and you're supporting Web3 and you're supporting projects in this space, you're part of the freedom, you know, movement that's taking place to say, you know what, we're tired of big individuals. There's a series on Fox that talks about the Vanderbilts and these older families, you know, the Pierpont Morgan and these type of people. And at one point, Pierpont Morgan controlled more of what happened in the world with money than anyone else in history, right? So there are small groups of people that control a vast amount of the world, right? And it was before money was that side of it. Today, it's data, right? This is what Blockchain Alliance is being built for, and that type of stuff. The people that control our data can deliver information that we want. You know, I mean, if you really think about it, when it comes to delivery of information, if you can edit the information and give what people want, you can get just about anybody or mass amounts of people, the majority of the population, to believe anything that you want through information and through what's going on. So it's just a lot of stuff. You know, the guy who's considered the father of AI, he left Google recently, and he was talking about it. And what the news started to report was that he was anti-AI, right? And that he felt that they should stop, because, you know, there was that document, a bunch of people got together and they all signed it saying that you should freeze the AI where it's at right now until there's stuff. He just came out and said that's not what he said at all. AI can be extremely beneficial. There are bad things that can happen, and we've got to come up with solutions to prevent the bad things from happening. But there is no stopping AI from continuing to develop, just like there's no stopping Web3. I was talking to Brian earlier today, and it's like, look, crypto is a necessity. We've talked about this many times over the last couple of years, right? Without crypto, there is no Web3. I believe I told you guys that it was an expert supposedly that did a talk, and he said that crypto was not Web3. Crypto is not just Web3, but without crypto, without blockchain, without that technology, Web3 doesn't exist. There is no Web3. There is no metaverse. There is none of this stuff. It's all of these technologies coming together that actually make it to where this is possible, to where we can begin to, you know, have some control over our own data, our own information, where it's at. I mean, just think about the vast amount of wealth. It's in our presentation for Blockchain Alliance. 300, I believe it's 24 people have a net worth of over $2 trillion. $2 trillion. 320 something people control over $2 trillion in wealth because of data, information. These are all web-based millionaires. Okay? Jeff Bezos doesn't make his money delivering toothpaste to your house. It's the data, the information that he gets when you buy toothpaste, when you search, when you go look for things. Google, you know, it's free to search on Google, right? And I can go search anytime I want. It ain't free, because what you've done is when you go to search on Google, you've raised your hand and said, hey, I'm interested in this item. And then Google takes that information and it says, hey, oh, you want to sell that item? Then pay us $1 or $2 or $5 or $8 or $10 or $12, $15. Oh, they're looking for a house and you're a mortgage company. You want us to connect you together? Boom, pay us money to do that, right? And so that information, though, who does it belong to, right? Who should have the rights to be able to use that and move that forward? I'm all for a fully paid. Just let me pay for all my social media, right? I'll pay $2, $4 or $5 a month and keep my data and keep my information, you know, and pay and just be on 1 or 2 platforms, right? I don't need to be on 38 platforms anyway. It just aggravates me anyway. So I'd be like, I messaged you, you didn't call me back. Well, where the heck did you message me? I messaged you on Instagram. Like, why? Last time I checked, this is a telephone right here, right? Telephones are for phone calls, and right, maybe occasionally a text, right? But if I'm going to communicate with somebody, this is how I'm doing it, right? My team will tell you, if I'm going to communicate with you, this is how I'm going to communicate with you, not through some messaging. One day I was on Facebook, it was a couple of years ago, but I clicked on a button and all of a sudden I had like 427 messages. I'm like, who the heck is messaging me through here? Like, how many places can you have where people message you and put that stuff out there? So, you know, guys, crypto and blockchain is here to stay. And it's not that we're not going to go through a lot of things. Anytime that people get threatened by something, people in power, when they get threatened by something, their first reaction is what? Attack it. Go after it, and we have to stop this. You know, we can't let this go on, because if it does, we'll lose power. Now, I don't believe that that's the case, right? I believe empowering people is the way to power, right? How did the U.S. get to where it got to become the world superpower? We empowered our citizens to go out and create and earn and entrepreneurship and the whole thing, right? So there's a positive side to it. But the people that are in charge feel like they're going to lose something, because most of the people in charge believe that there's a pie and it's this big, and they want their slice of that pie. And they think that if you get some more, for you to take that pie, the pie needs to either, you know, they need to lose a piece of theirs. They don't understand that if you believe in human potential, the pie can keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And even though they have a more narrow slice, it's a bigger slice than what they had before, because it's there. And also this, look, so let's say, you know, you could become worth $50 billion. You could become an Amazon, Jeff Bezos, and have 70, 80 billion dollars. What good does that do if people, everyday people, are homeless and all of a sudden are rioting in the streets and burning down houses and doing all that stuff? There comes a point where money is like, hey, I'd like to keep making more, but how do I do that and make it a better place for me to have that money? Having $1 billion in a world that's better, to me, would be better than having $100 billion in a world that's worse, right? Where you have to worry about your safety, you have to worry about your kids, you have to worry about, you know, people coming after you because they believe that you took something from them, and because you have, they don't have, right? And that's where we're moving towards on that whole thing. So, and I do really believe, guys, that blockchain, Web3, the whole thing, the matter, all of this stuff has the solution built into it, because we can empower people, we can get them the right information, and they can make their decision either way, right? I don't care. Again, this is not a political talk here, right? I don't care what side of that you're on. We need to, whatever that decision should be, is it should be a decision that says, what's good for me, that's good for everybody else, right? What's good for me, that's good for the whole. What's good for me, that's also good for the country. What's good for me, that's also good for the world. That needs to be the messaging, right? So that doesn't mean that you've got to be left out in the cold and freeze to death. It means you can be warm, but so can other people, right? We can all be in that side of it. And this is a very complex thing, because we're people, right? And people have a tendency, especially in times of fear, to do what? Become more self-focused. I need to survive. You know, it's like that joke, you know, where the guy's like, oh, there's a bear there, and he, you know, I got to hurry up and throw my tennis shoes on. And the guy says, why? You know, tennis shoes with bear. He goes, I don't have to outrun the bear. I have to outrun you, right? Because if I outrun you, you get eaten by the bear, I'm okay, right? You know, it sucks that I lost my friend or whatever, but you know, the bear can only eat one of us at a time, right? So I just got to go faster than you. And I think that that's how most people get when fear becomes the guiding light of it. And I believe a lot of the stuff that's just going on, not just in the US, but the whole world right now. I was actually just on the phone with Doug, and in Pakistan, their ex-leader was just arrested, and they are rioting in the streets as we speak, right? There's just like turmoil there because this guy was loved and they've arrested him, and you know, they're saying it's a setback for democracy and everything else on that side of it. And so it you know, so it's all over the world, right? This stuff is taking place. So I actually just read another thing that talked about that they spent $125 million on the coronation of King Charles. $125 million on a weekend event to just say, hey, I'm king, right? I mean, for me, I would have woke up that morning and said, hey, yep, thanks. Okay, great. I probably would have spent like 50 grand or something, right? Just 50 grand. Get it done, right? Make it happen. Now there's arguments on, you know, it's good for tourism and it created all this wealth and, you know, the pride of the country. But as far as I understand, the UK is hurting just like America is, right? Racking up debts, inflation out of control, and just things going crazy. And again, you guys can disagree with me, right? That's what this is. This is the beauty of the world, right? We don't even have to agree, right? I don't know if I agree with anything Rondo or Jan or Dawn believe in, but we still love each other and we're still friends and we still work together and we still do it, right? I don't even care. I don't even ask what their political beliefs are because it doesn't matter to me. We're here to accomplish a task and a goal, and that is to leave this place better than when we got here. And so, and we can do that. I can work with somebody who has completely different belief system as far as the details go, as long as we both have an understanding that we're both here to make this a better place, because then we can figure out ways that work for the entire, you know, everybody that's out there, right? The whole world. There's people on the right, left, center. You're never going to get a group of people that are all going to agree and believe in the same thing. So what do we need to be able to do? Is find solutions that are balanced, right? That can work for what we're doing and where we're going. And again, this is a crypto talk, guys, because I believe decentralization is so key to that. I do not think we can ever get there in a centralized fashion. And here's the reason why. In a centralized fashion, power is centralized. It goes to a few people. And you guys have heard this many times before. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. I'll say it again. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. You have somebody who says, oh my goodness, I want to help make this a better world. And then they start working their way up the power structure. and a centralized authority. And eventually they hit the top or near the top of that. And all of a sudden they forgot why they started down here. And now it's all about them, how good they are, how smart they are, how fantastic they are, and how they need to stay in power in order to continue their mission that they started on a long time ago, but they forgot the entire mission because it's not about the people anymore. It's about, I'm smarter than everyone else, so I should be making these decisions for individuals instead of people making them for themselves. And so that's why central authority does not work. And it's why we need to move. If we're going to keep going, right, for another hundreds of years, right, which I'll be long gone, right, but I still think about it, right, then it needs to be in a fashion where the majority of things are decentralized, a participatory economy, where I'm not working my guts out and getting left behind. Because if I'm working my guts out and getting left behind, then I do what? I start to resent the powers that are in office, right? And that resentment becomes anger, and I become a victim. So now I'm an angry victim. And then, so what happens when you get enough angry victims together? You end up with what? Riots and crime and just an entire collapse of society. And we just keep repeating this over and over and over again. So what do we got to do for the solution? We've got to give people hope. Now, that means if you're lazy and you want to sit your butt on the couch and not do anything all day, to me, if you starve, right? But for the people that want to go out and work and do and make this a better place and want to carry their own weight and make things better, that's what we need to be able to focus on. And we need to be able to give those people opportunity. And I believe that blockchain is the way to do that. And so anybody who's out there talking about the negative sides of it, now there are some negative sides, right? I was scammed, right? I clicked on a wrong website and somebody took, $5,000 out of my wallet, just like that, right? We had the hack with Safufied. So we've been scammed. So we've been affected. I've literally been brokenhearted to hear, that people, one of the times was when Marty, right, clicked on a link. She thought she was going to get some TruBadger tokens. She sent them in and they stole from her, right? Those are the heartbreaking things, but we can't let that be what crypto or blockchain or Web3 is. We need to put together solutions that then can make it work for people. Because again, it's not everywhere you look. Oh, by the way, just read a very good article about AI. Oh yes, the scammers are using AI to what? Not crypto. Oh no, they're stealing their banking accounts. They're taking money from them. So by the way, guys, if you go to any AI sites, make sure they're real AI sites, just like you do on a crypto site. There are people creating fake GPT sites, and you go in there and you start typing away, and they're literally putting Trojan right on your malware on your computer. And as soon as you start putting in some passwords, they're gonna be logging in and making withdrawals, right? And doing stuff. So AI's the new hot button. That's where people are going to scam. When the metaverse gets launched, right, and is fully up and running. Did you guys see the article? There was just an article that said the metaverse is dead. It's a fad, right? It was just literally, I saved it, right? Because in about 18 months, I'm going to have to go back and send a nice note to the person who wrote the article, right? And say what happened there, right? But I got to tell you guys, you can go back and look after the bubble burst in the internet. There are literally a whole host of articles out there talking about the internet was a fad, it's dead, it was just that, and there were some people who believed that and sat on the sidelines, and there's other people that didn't believe it, and they built new businesses and they built creative stuff, and today they're doing quite well, right? Because they went and put it together. So the metaverse is just getting going. It's just getting started. Matter of fact, Apple has announced they're going to have a date pretty soon for their glasses, right? That are going to open it up tremendously. So they're moving forward there with that, where you'll be able to wear not goggles, right? Not, I got a headset on, and you guys see the pictures that people use all the time, right? They got the big headset on, right? And you can't see their face at all. You see a little bit of their forehead here, and you're like right about here because they got this big thing on their face, right? That's going to be going away soon. And so the advancements there will continue to move in the other direction. And there's just going to be some cool stuff that's going to come out of it and make it where people can engage. All of this, guys, is Web3, right? All of this is our opportunity to go out and make stuff happen and bring things together. So I think Sharona had sent me a text about possibly, guys, we're going to move our monthly burn party to 6 p.m. Pacific time. So it'll only be 9 on the East Coast. We got lightweight people want to go to bed early, whatever. I don't understand that stuff, but it's okay. I still love them. Right? Even if they want to go to bed early. So
I told them that us Easterners were getting older.
Yeah, what we're talking about doing is also moving this AMA to 6 o'clock every 2 weeks. So that we'll get a post out. So this will be an hour earlier. If you're on the East Coast or whatever, and you want to get to bed a little earlier, we'll make it to where you can get some rest and relaxation there. So we're going to move that out to there.
I apologize to the community. It's me. I'm old. And I moved to the East Coast, and I just haven't
just messed
well.
Rhonda up moving to the East Coast. She was on the West Coast. She's like, I don't know what the heck you guys are complaining about. It is not bad at all. This call's at a perfect time. Now she lives in Ohio, and all of a sudden the call's at the wrong time. It's too late. What the heck's wrong with you guys? It's just the way life is.
Lovejoy said thank you.
The people that are older than
too.
you were your age at one point, and the people who are younger will be your age at some point. So it's okay. You're helping all of us.
Here we go. So starting in 2 weeks.
So we'll be moving this to 6 o'clock in 2 weeks. It'll be at 6 instead of 7 PST. It'll of course be in the announcement. Just if you guys want to make a note of that, because people will go, oh, I missed it because you guys didn't have it, but we're already off and done. We're continuing to push forward, guys, continuing to move stuff forward. We are testing some new technology that we built out, hopefully tomorrow. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to tell you that we're testing some stuff. Again, the halving is getting closer and closer, right? So, less than right now, it's early May is when the halving is supposed to take place. So, we're already, well into getting within a year, right, of where this halving is going to take place of Bitcoin, and really change some stuff up. The last 3 have had the same result each time, and that is, higher new all-time highs, not just for Bitcoin, but for many tokens that are out there, have had new all-time highs and moved it forward. And like all the other times, if you go through, first time, very little technology that stuck came out of it. Now you have things like Brave right after 3 of them, where these businesses develop. They brought in lots of money during the boom times. This is the same thing actually that happened with the dot-com days, right? If you think about it, everybody talks about the dot-com days where things were overinflated in prices, but those overinflations in prices is what gave Amazon enough money to build out an infrastructure that without overpriced share prices at some point, they wouldn't have had the ability to do that. So when these bubbles are created, innovation comes in because there's a bubble, right? There's excitement, there's energy, investment, and all this stuff pours into it. And then things settle back down. And then all of that technology that was moved forward because of all the funds that came in, then eventually begins to create more value for the end users. That value equates to companies like, Amazon being worth over $1 trillion, right? And if you think about it, during the bubble, okay, of the early 2000s, right? The internet bubble. Think about the highest valuations of those companies, and then look at the valuations of things like Priceline today. They're not even close, right? Those weren't bubbles. Those are just high prices at the time. If you would have bought at the top of those and held those shares, you would be wealthier today than when you were then. So what was a bubble then was actually not even close to the high marks for the companies that survived. Amazon, and I don't know what the highest price Amazon was at that time, but it wasn't even close to where Amazon is right now. Not even in the realm, right? I mean, I think at that time they were talking about Jeff Bezos maybe being worth like 5-6 billion, right? Not, 200 billion. And it is 200 billion because he had to give 60 billion to his ex-wife, right? To take her 60 billion and his 140 billion. It's a couple $100 billion. Same thing's going to happen here, right? The same thing happened in 2008. Let me ask you guys a question. In 2008, the high mark for houses, is it greater today or was it greater then? I don't think there's a single house in 2008 that's probably less valuable today. And we're not even at the peak of the market. The peak of the market was last year, right? So like people were like, oh my goodness, these house prices got so expensive. It was $400,000 for a 4,000 square foot house. Well, that 4,000 square foot house right now is $800,000, right? So just think about the progression of it. Let's learn. History is the biggest educator, right? If we look back at history and we say, here's what happened, then there's a good chance something similar, the same, or maybe, some variation of it will repeat itself over and over and over again. At the end of the dot-com boom, there was fear. There was all this other stuff. End of the real estate collapse, there was fear. Oh my goodness. What were people afraid of, right? You went and picked up 10 houses. I think houses in Phoenix at the time were going for $100,000, right? You can't find a house here for less than $300,000 right now. Here it is, 15 years after the collapse of the entire real estate market, right? In some places, they were paying people to take houses, right? If you come move in, we'll give you this house, right? And now today, those houses are $400,000 or $500,000, right? A couple $100 a square foot is average here in Phoenix. Guys, this is going to happen again and again. We've got to learn from history. We've got to go forward from there. And that's our crypto lesson for today, right? We're going to keep moving things forward. We haven't stopped working on any of the projects that we're working on and doing. All the stuff is still moving forward, some slower than others, right? Some are, it'll take for the bull market to come back to give us more resources to move stuff forward. But this team shows up every single day and they put the effort in, and it doesn't matter what it is, right? Doesn't matter how many disappointments or heartbreaks or, some knucklehead coming out there and putting out something bad about crypto and watching it go down for the day or for 2 days or 3 days. If you guys think it's tough on you guys, think about you have crypto that's your resource to move the company forward, like pay bills, servers, right? So I don't know if you guys know, but to keep all of our websites running just for Amazon for our web stuff is nearly $1,000 a month just to keep this going. And if you add Digi and NSI into it, it's over $9,000 a month just to keep those things going and just to keep that stuff moving forward, databases and that type of stuff. So think about, you have this crypto sitting there and all of a sudden a hit comes and it's like, oh, we got to pay Amazon. We can't call Amazon up and say, hey, Amazon, the market's a little soft today. So can you wait another maybe 5 to 7 days or so for us to pay you because, the price is down a little bit. Maybe we can get a little grace with the price action on it and, pay you a little bit later on. That stuff doesn't work, right?
That's
So-
why we invested in those crystal balls, right, Peter?
Exactly. Yes. Crystal balls. I've got a lot of them. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm still trying
Bryce
to
has
figure out
all
how to
those
get them to
8
work.
balls.
I thought I had one that worked and I was rubbing on it and then it fell over and I saw made in China. I went, oh, it's not.
No, shoot.
That's not a real one. That's a made in China. That's a knockoff. That's a knockoff crystal ball. So anyway, if anybody knows where you can get the good ones, let me know. I could use a new one. The last one I have, like I said, it was said made in China. So, but we don't need a crystal ball, guys. We literally can look at what's already happened. We can look at the technology and say, is there benefits to crypto, to blockchains? Yeah. It solves a double spend problem, right? It solves real world problems, right? It says, I don't need a bank to do a transfer, right? Some banker who's making $32 million a year. Can someone do me a favor and find out how much, what's his name? Jamie Dimon from Chase Bank made last year. So this is somebody who, think about it, guys, trust. Why do banks have the credibility they have? Because you're willing to go put your money in the bank, right? And you know that it's insured and that even if somebody steals it or does something with it, you can get it back, right? So, and then when you go to pay somebody, right, with a credit card, you know, if the product is bad or you don't get it, you can go back to the credit card company. You can say, that's why we're paying so much. So 35, Jamie Dimon. Let me ask, anybody else on here last year make $34.5 million? Put a 1 in if you made even $3.45 million. Put a 2 in if you're not even in the realm, right? Not even close, right? Let's get some action going here in the chat, at least. I think we'll get a bunch of 2s, right?
Put a 3 in if you would never answer that question in public.
Now, here's the thing, guys. He made 34.5 million. How much did all the other presidents and vice presidents? How much did all the investment bankers make? How much did his net worth is $1.6 billion, guys. So that's the cost of trust. So if you can build technology that you don't need him and you can still have a great transaction, then if he's worth 34.5 billion, then what's the technology is worth it that you don't need him anymore? Just think about it, guys. No emotion. Right? None of that stuff. Just think about the technology. Think about the technology of the metaverse. Think about the technology of Web3. You know, if we were sitting here in 2000 and I was talking about Web 2 even, you would have been like, what the heck are you talking about? But it came and it created massive fortunes for people. Massive fortunes. Web3 is going to do the same thing. It's just, I believe that if it's in a decentralized fashion, it will be more widespread. So instead of 300 and something people controlling $2 trillion, it'll be millions of people that control those 2, 3, 4, and it could be $10 trillion, right? Because again, the pie keeps getting bigger. And you're like, oh my God, millions of people doing tens of trillions of dollars. I don't think that's a lot for each person. Yes, it is. Every single one of those people are multimillionaires. Every one of them. Instead of 300 and something people being, worth hundreds of billions of dollars, you could have millions of people worth millions of dollars off of that same creation from there. So anyway, guys, the 6 richest investment bankers of all time. Nathaniel Rothschild, net worth $1 trillion. Jim Simmons, net worth 23.5. Joseph Safra, net worth 22.4 billion. I guess Peter, but it doesn't have another E in it. Kellner, 18.4 billion. Ray Dalio, 16.9 billion. And George Paul Lehman, $15.5 billion, guys. This is the problem that the technology solves. These people all made their fortunes because you could not trust other people on the other end of the transaction, and they said, oh, but you can trust us. And so one person came and said, I trust you. Here's my money. This person said, I trust you. And they took the money. That's all it is. And that's one of the bigger problems that the whole blockchain and everything else solves and brings together. So, but again, it's a threat to some people. And so they're going to fight it tooth and nail. So we need to do our part. And as where we started, I'm going to end this. Whatever political person you're going to vote for, the first question you should ask them is, what is your belief in blockchain, crypto, and decentralization? If it is not a positive thought, right? I love it. I believe in it. I encourage it, right? Then find another candidate. It's pretty simple, right? Find one that does love it, right? And there are people on all sides of the aisle that do love it, and there's people on all sides of the aisle that don't like it, right? Find out their belief system, and let's find the people that are going to encourage this and make this happen. Because again, it is such an important part of our lives. All right. Anything else? Anybody else have anything? Anything I missed?
No, I don't think you missed anything. I really love that talk. Thank you for all the things you said. You touched on a lot of things that we as a team obviously think about that we want to solve, right? The fear that this whole industrial, like this is considered the fourth industrial revolution, right? And I'm sure the first three were really scary for a lot of people. You know, there was technology introduced, there was advancements, there was a change in the way we live and work and interact with each other in every one of those. And this is the same thing, you know, and it can be scary, but, you know, I love your brain and the ideas that you come up with. And then the fact that we have the best blockchain developer that we've ever heard of, right, on our team. And he can actually take your ideas and come up with these amazing, trustless solutions that we're incorporating in the things that we do, and just changing the whole face of everything. Like I'm just very excited. I can't wait to see 2 years from now how different everything is, and the solutions that we brought in 5 years and 10 years. And hopefully everybody on this call is very well off because of all those things that we're putting in place. And it's very, very exciting. I love this team. I love sitting here and everything that we do. So thank you.
Thank you. We have a couple of questions actually that we can answer here real quick. Can you touch base on the packages for Otherverse and what happens at the end of the 3-year term? So of course, if you buy any license, I buy a 1-year license for anything, a gym membership, I pay for a year. At the end of that, of course, you'll have to renew it, right? And pay for that year again, or downgrade or upgrade the service or quit. If it isn't providing you value, then you would of course discontinue that, right? So at that time, there'll be, you know, of course, different options that are available. You know, you can go to month, you can do whatever you want when it comes to that side of it, right? 3 years is a long time. So the developments and everything that'll take place, it will be interesting when it comes to the metaverse and everything that's taking place there. Let's see. Sten asked, any updates on Reveal, Selfless, and Steezy? So the Steezy guys, we have not heard from in a little while. We need to reach back out to them. But we do know Selfless is still plodding along in this, you know, we actually connected them with Mixed Martial Arts, and they raised some money for the, you know, for human trafficking through doing that. So we helped put that deal together and do that. But Selfless is moving forward with the rest of it.
There's also connections with Otherverse now, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
he's constantly, he's kind of part of our team. Like he's moving things forward and bringing people, and he's still around.
Yep. And then Reveal just actually had a pretty nice run up here. We talk to them quite often. Matter of fact, we just saw them at the BA, right? They came to the Blockchain Alliance conference. We just saw them there. So they're continuing to work away and continuing to make progress on there. Again, bear market, things are moving slow. It's going to be like a switch, guys. When the bulls come, deals are going to start flying, things are going to start moving, and it's going to be like, wow, where was this, right? Like 6 months ago. Let's see. Unknown Comic wants to know any updates on the crypto gods. We are working on Dawn, why don't you give us the update on that? Because you know better.
For sure. Yeah, so TruBadger is done. I'm just testing on OpenSea and making sure everything looks like it's expected to look and everything's good. But we'll probably, I hope we have a reveal party. Those are kind of fun. So maybe we'll plan that for after Mother's Day. So get through Mother's Day weekend, and then we'll have a reveal party for TruBadger. That should be fun. And then the Bitcoin one, the last one, it's not anything you could purchase. We're actually giving that to the community. So we'll be coming up with what that looks like. Of course, anybody that holds the other crypto gods is going to be eligible in one way or another.
And there's a whole formula, guys. If
there's
you
a whole
one,
formula.
You get one chance to for one we're giving away. If you hold, so if you hold one of each of them, you'll have 5 chances to possibly get it. And then if you own a set, those are additional chances to get it. So to get through that, and we'll give away about a third of the ones we have now, and then the other ones will be given away next year as we distribute more and do more stuff with that. So that'll be
the artwork is almost done, though. I'm excited to say, so we'll be able to see that artwork pretty soon. He's working away on that and testing that, so I should get a sneak peek. I think in the next week or so, he should be done. And then we'll, of course, give y'all a sneak peek. That's always fun. And then we'll map that out and Peter will do his thing.
Yeah, perfect. Drew's question is, are we doing another credit card solution for Otherverse? That has been very difficult task to overcome, guys. And a lot of it is, I'm just going to say it as it is, the environment of the current administration, from the SEC to the FTC to everybody. Their view on crypto has made it very difficult to get credit card companies to participate on the crypto side of things. I actually just had a thought. Me and Don will talk about this after we get off here, because I think maybe we have a solution for it already. It just popped in my head. Thank you for asking that. But right now, we don't have another solution in place currently for doing that, but we are working on that. And I might have an idea here on how we can do that. Okay.
All right. Remember this moment, folks, because Peter just had a light bulb that went off in his head. Solution to something. And, who knows how many weeks it'll be before that light bulb, we're talking about it. I'm just going to say, I'm just predicting.
It could be pretty quick. I think we got it.
We like your
guys,
light bulbs.
Did you see Otherverse is going to be announcing their closed beta first round and then second round? And of course, shortly after that is just open up to the world, right? And make things happen. We are so excited about that with the NFTs, basically eventually the TGE event, just that whole thing coming together. And the beauty is that the world figured out how hard it is, how difficult it is to build a metaverse, right? Everybody just thought, oh, I'll just hire a couple of these game guys over here. We'll just do this, it'd be simple, it'd be easy. And all of a sudden it's like, holy mackerel, this is hard. We just happen to be blessed enough to find the one person who does understand it and knows what they're doing and knows how to structure it in the background. Now, of course, it's taken a year longer than I would have liked to have been, but we do have a date. There's actually 2 dates right now that will be being announced through the Otherverse type things. But it is getting very close to happening, and right now, for a functioning metaverse that actually has value to it, Otherverse has first mover advantage on this, right? Because there's no other one that exists. A lot of people have tried to cheat it, meaning they've created fake or simulated circumstances that made it look like they had a metaverse that could do something in some limited ways. This is going to be fully fun. I mean, this is just going to be beautiful, guys. It's just going to be incredible. So we're excited about it, that we were able to find the right partners on it. We're also, too, guys, just so you know, a blockchain alliance is about to go global. So the MLM side will only be open in the US and in Germany. However, we've built an affiliate program where people anywhere in the world can purchase the products and the services through this affiliate plan. And then later on, when that country is ready to open on the MLM side, because you got to do all the legal side of it, then that'll be moved in to the MLM side of things. So we're excited about that. And that'll means taking, Digi to the world, but not only Digi to the world, NSI to the world, where they'll be able to utilize it and make some stuff happen. I was actually talking to Doug. I don't know if he's even talked about this on his calls, but I don't ask permission to do anything anyway. So why start now, right? I haven't to this point. He was telling me that one of the new things that they've built, it'll be in place for NSI, is that right now what would happen is NSI would look and say, oh, the price went down, let me buy. Oh, the price went down, let me buy again. Oh, the price went down, let me buy again. Oh, the price went down, let me buy again. But here's what it's going to do. The software will look at it and say, it looks like this crypto could go down 8 or 9%. And I hold some right here. If I give it permission, it will sell this at this higher price, even though maybe it's a loss from where I bought it. Let's say I bought it here and it dripped to here. It will sell this at a loss, and then it'll wait till it goes down here and it'll buy it back again, giving me even more higher gains on that side of it. So, and that has just been implemented. I don't know if it's working or not yet, but it's close to being able to do that, which should make NSI a little bit smarter of a trader, right? So, no, you guys can't tell Doug I talked about that, because I don't know if he talked about it at all. I know he told me, but so keep that to yourself. If you're on the calls, don't go on the Digi call or NSI call and go, hey guys, I heard Peter say this. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sten, reach out to us. Reach out to Jan. So he says he's got a suggestion for the card. There's a project launching their credit card. So Jan, maybe give Sten your information. So he can reach. You have to give it to Sharona to give to him, but yeah, get him your information. Oh, there you go. Jan put his email address in the chat there. So if you can grab that, that would be great. Does the chat show on YouTube, buddy?
No, it doesn't. So we can put it over there too.
All right, yeah, let's put it over there. And we'll move that stuff forward. Anything else, guys? I don't have anything else. And of course, I can stay here and talk all night long, so I don't ever have to stop. So,
thanks, Peter. That's one of my favorite. I think it is my favorite analogy of yours, the pie analogy. It expresses something that I think a lot of people don't realize, that they haven't thought through that process, but that a lot of our minds are programmed that way, that the pie is only so large and it's never going to be bigger. So you got to get as much as you can, regardless of who you got to take it from. And that's just not the case. We can expand the pie. So I think that's brilliant. It always strikes a chord when you talk about it. And I think it's really, really powerful what we're doing here, which is decentralizing different aspects of life. Because with decentralization, that empowers people and protects them. Because there have been huge companies that have been compromised, and people's data and information or money has been taken and used for who knows what purpose. But those are the kind of things that won't happen anymore when our data is decentralized and under our own control, because there's no other company that can go lose it for you.
Right.
It's yours.
Yep.
Ooh, speaking of protection and those kinds of things, I encourage everybody to get with Carolyn and get your Shopify set up. There are people who have actually been like hacked or scammed, and their
Yeah, their
tokens
wallet
were
was
safe.
compromised. Yeah.
Yeah, their wallet was compromised, but their tokens were safe. Why? Because they were in Shopify, in their multi-sig. It's extremely easy to set it up. It takes less than 5 minutes to set it up. And Carolyn knows all about it. She can do it with her eyes closed. Just get in Zoom, let her help you get it set up. It's just a beautiful thing. I'm not bragging on us. I'm just saying it's an amazing solution we came up with that works. It absolutely works. So please use it.
All right. Everybody have a great evening. We'll see you in 2 weeks at 6 p.m. PST. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Perfect.